Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm reviewing the competitive and solo play in Spooktacular, the latest game from Level 99. And disclaimer that I got a review copy of this one. And also disclaimer that I am listed in the rulebook as helping out with a solo bot, but honestly I didn't do very much. It's still nice that I got included. In Spooktacular, each player controls a different horrific monster with their own unique cards, their own unique board, and they are moving around this haunted theater, trying to spook the guests that are in there for points, eating them to form sets of colors for even more points, messing with the other monsters and earning points that way, and whoever has the highest score after anybody has reached a score of 50, or once 2 times the number of players and tickets have been taken, will be the winner. And it's also got a solo mode, very straightforward, that uses Killtron, one of the factions, to compete against the other players, or to boost up the player count in a multiplayer game. So let's discuss 5 key things to know about Spooktacular. So my number 5 point, which is the least important of the 5, but still important or I wouldn't mention it, is the scoring, and particularly the tickets in the game. So I mentioned that the game end is triggered when 2 times the number of tickets have been taken, and these tickets are kept face down. They're each worth from 4 to 8 victory points, but you don't know how many yours are worth. And at the end of the game, they are revealed, and you find out what you actually earned. Besides that, all victory points are earned throughout the game, and you can kind of see where everyone is relatively. And this is a mix for me, and I imagine it might be polarizing for people, because it can be fun to not know exactly how many points you are, and it kind of makes everyone feel like they're still in the game. But also, like, sometimes you'll be winning or tied with somebody, and you have the same number of tickets, and you flip them over, and you just happen to have lower values than they do. The game is quick and silly enough that it certainly doesn't bother me that much, but I can imagine some players getting really angry at that hidden scoring based on their personality. My number 4 point, which is another mix, is the bot itself. So how the bot works is they have 3 piles of cards, and they're going to flip 1 from each pile. This pile generally moves them, this pile does like little unique things, and this pile gives them one main thing to score points on their turn. And it works pretty well, it's very quick to resolve their turn. The rules don't fully spell out every single priority for them in some edge cases, but it still plays smoothly. And to make them harder, you can just give them more victory points to start the game, which tends to give you a good challenge. I can win on hard, but not on the highest level usually. But on the more negative side, again, there are some ambiguities in how the solo bot works in some situations. It's a little bit of a bummer that you can only use one of the factions to play against. I mean, you can still use every faction to play against them, but it'd be cool if they supported more solo factions in the game. And the final potential negative for this point is that while the bot does fill out the player count if you want to increase a multiplayer game, it can feel a little swingy which players get most hurt or helped by it because it's not really paying attention to who's winning or anything like that. My number 3 point, which is a pro with caveats, is the core card play in the game. So most monsters will have 3 cards in their hand at one time, and they can play 1 card, although some cards will allow them to play another one to chain things together. And this is generally fun and interesting without being overcomplicated. Again, most monsters can only play a single card, so trying to figure out when the best time to use a really strong card is interesting. But if you hold on to a card too long, then you aren't going to shuffle it back in to play it again. So you have to decide when the right moment for your strongest cards is, and the fact that each faction gets unique cards to kind of change up that whole puzzle, that's really good. The only caveat for this is sometimes it feels a little bit obvious what card you should play, or you just don't have that many options because the luck of what you drew kind of hamstrings you. But other than that, the core card play lends itself to the quick tactical system of the game overall. Speaking of tactics, and this is inextricably tied into my number 3, is my number 2, the core movement of guests and monsters in the game. And this is really an interesting tactical puzzle because a lot of monsters benefit from being in the same place as each other, so they'll follow each other around. But sometimes you want to avoid other monsters entirely, and the guests are frequently getting eaten or scared into other rooms, so the relative value of what you can do in different places changes, and a lot of monsters kind of care about which guests are where and how it affects other players too. And this combines with that card play to really give you a nice puzzle of what the best way to do your turn is, although the game is also straightforward enough, especially with the easier monsters, that you can just, move around to the place with the most people, do some nasty stuff to them, and earn a lot of points and still have a fun time if you're playing with your kids, for example. And finally, my number 1, a full-on pro, most important thing to know about the game, and this is kind of an obvious one, that's the monsters themselves, because they are so varied, there are so many of them, and they really do run the gamut. You have some really simple ones that my 9-year-old could easily control. You have some ones that are much more complicated and really reward some careful planning. Some of them have multiple characters out on the board. Some of them put unique tokens out or have like their own special type of guest they're hunting, and some of them have their own combos to set up. They each have unique cards that get added into the deck, although they do all share share the same 5 basic cards, so it's not as unique as it could be, but the basic cards provide some core actions you always want to have, and they combo with the monster's other cards, so that's not really a complaint at all. But this is one of those games where it's just tons of fun to try out a different monster each time you play, or to find your favorite and use them a whole bunch of times and put them in different matchups, and the art is just fabulous, kind of like the movie poster they've done for each one. Just awesome. The monsters are the star of the show here, as they should be, and they are great. So overall, you might enjoy Spooktacular if you like games with lots of factions and player characters to experiment with. The monsters are great. And you might also have fun with this one if you like straightforward games that still offer you a lot of combos and tactical options. But on the other hand, you might want to avoid this one if you're mainly going to play it solo. I think it does shine best in multiplayer. And also, if you don't like chaos and some randomness in your games, there are parts of this that might frustrate you. But if you want to see the game in action and decide for yourself, I have multiple playthroughs on the channel already. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.